Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. One of the things that's going to keep you sexless is definitely the fact that you using sex as the focal point in order to change the sexless relationship. What do I mean by that? Many people, when they start seeing that sex is a problem in their relationship, when they try and change it, they go online, they get advice, and generally the advice out there is very, very bad. So if you type in, how do I change a sexless relationship, or how do I get my wife to have desire again, what you'll get is a list of things that you need to be doing. And a lot of it is making this woman feel like a victim, for example. So they'll be like, she's fucking tired. She's fucking tired, so you have to start cleaning more around the house. I don't know why I make that voice, but that's one of the things that they'll say. Or they say, you need to change it up and take her out on date nights. And all of that is transactional in its nature, because all of a sudden you think by changing the scenario and changing the setting or reducing the load of her productivity, that way somehow sexual desire will come up, and generally it doesn't. And I'm preaching to the choir, because some of you have already tried pretty much everything. So and a lot of it is because it's a transaction where you're making sex the focal point, that if I do X, then I should get Z, which is absolutely terrible way of doing it. Because when you do those other things, when you do things like that, where you're doing more around the house, date nights or a couple's retreat or buying a present or doing, all of that is transactional, because this is what happens to you specifically. You start having an outcome dependency, so that if I do X, then I'll most likely get this result. And again, from a logical standpoint, it makes sense. Like, that's one way of doing things, but it forces you guys to view sex as the focal point, as in, okay, but if I've done this, then we should have sex. And then there's some sort of negative, well, like I said, the reason why you're in this place is because there's a negative association around sex. So really changing the scene, or changing the scenario, or changing the environment in order to offer up more sex still does not deal with the problem of sexual discomfort. So you have to start focusing on other things that are outside of sex. And when you fix those, then sex naturally follows. Within a relationship, the best way of putting it is that sex should be byproduct of an already well-functioning relationship. It shouldn't be the thing that makes the relationship functioning. I don't know if that makes sense. So, and most people, they lose the sense of self, the sense of positioning within the relationship, based off of the fact that they make sex the most important thing within that relationship, or at least in the interactions of that relationship. So really it becomes more important to understand, okay, how do I cause attraction to my wife in a way that she just wants to fuck me 24/7? And one of the things is obviously some of the things that we teach, which is, acting within masculine, or AKA dominance. So being able to show those traits becomes an attraction piece to by having dominance. If for some of you guys who are hearing this for the first time, it's got three traits, and those three traits are ability to protect, strategic thinking, and resilience. And whenever she sees that and you are operating amongst that, it allows her to have whatever anxiety that she feels around the house or in life. Seeing that in you allows her to for her feelings of anxiety and depression, whatever mental health issues that she might have, it allows them to subside, and then it gives opportunity, or at least allows room for her to feel attracted towards you. So this is a very important part, because when you can allow those things, especially things that are causing discomfort, you generally, yes, it is actually quite true that there will be a level of anxiety, a level of some sort of mental health that is happening, where she's failing to engage within the relationship, or even take ownership into the relationship and do the right things within the relationship. So whatever that means, and a lot of the contributors, usually 9 out of 10, it's usually anxiety and depression and stress are the contributors for her not to show up in the way, because now she sees herself as a victim, so therefore she feels like, okay, I'm suffering, so therefore I don't expect anything from me because I'm already at the place where I'm spent. But really, when you can help those feelings to subside by your behavior, it helps her to then get into a place where she can start feeling those feelings again, because being around you allows you to not feel those, or at least reduce anxiety, reduce stress, reduce depression. You can have that effect on your partner based off of how you behave, and this becomes the attraction piece. And those are the things that you can focus on in order to change a sexless relationship, rather than focusing on giving more sex. You actually focus on, how do I I think two episodes ago, I gave an example of what that looks like in terms of ability to protect. In terms of strategic thinking, I've also given different examples around that. And I just invite you to go and listen to those episodes, because those will give you some ideas on what that looks like. But when you do so and allow those negative emotions internally for her to subside, it does open, or at least leave a vacuum for her to now then see you as a person that she can, more importantly, submit to. Because again, this is where submission comes from. And I know people, when they hear submission, it's something that makes them feel a bit queasy, because they think that it's removing any decision making from that person, or any free will from that person. But really what submission does is allows that person to be confident in your decision making, and that's what you're trying to do. You want her to be confident in decision making. You want her to confidently follow your leadership, and you want it to trust your leadership, and that's what submission is. And so, like, for example, my relationship, my wife is quite submissive to me, but there are many places within our relationship where she takes leadership. For example, our children, how the things that we do in terms of the school, she knows way better than I do, and I'll have to take a submissive role on that front. But generally, on most things, I will take the leadership role, and she will thrive more within that setting than when we're jostling for power, and which is where most people find themselves, where they're sort of fighting for power, fighting for control. And some of it is not that they're fighting for control. Sometimes it's just giving up that control, because you feel like if you allow her to lead the relationship, then she has freedom, and that freedom that you give her gives you access towards sex, but really it does the negative side of things. So because she's now having the burden of decision making, which is not good for her. She doesn't want to be making those decisions. She wants to be able to be in partnership with somebody who's going to be making good decisions, really showing the ability to protect, because that's just how it is. When an intruder comes, she's never going to say, you know what, it's equal opportunities, you lay down and I'm going to go and try and deal with the intruder. She will generally want to submit in that point. So generally there is that within her, and from a psychological, from a societal standpoint, it's something that they will totally disagree. And again, I don't want you guys to go to your wife and say, you should submit to me. No, that's not what you should do. That will become very, very destructive. But what I'm saying is that as you behave, that naturally she will fall into line, and that will be the thing that will be the attraction piece, in order to get her to a place where she wants to have sex with you, and more importantly, have sex with you consistently. So thank you very much, guys. I'm going to knock it on the head here, but I just thought I needed to share this with you. I come off a call and something that I was talking about with somebody, and I thought I just wanted to share with you guys. So thank you very much. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.